I don't like this job. I love this job.
It's like wedding pictures over here.
Go ahead, it's all okay.
Thank you, Chacham Izzy, for inviting me. This year is sponsored by the Adin Yagov family. Hashem should give them beracha, parnasa, nachat from all the children, B'ezrat Hashem. And whoever wants to sponsor
those
the year,
who
please
fight to get close to Hashem and others tell them not to, and they fight their surroundings to get close to Hashem, or they fight their Yetzirah, even though Yetzirah tells them you're worthless, you're never going to be a tzaddik, you're not going to succeed, but he pulls through. Let's that person wants to learn for 30 minutes a day, but the Yetzirah convinces him not to learn, but he fights harder. He fights harder. That person not only will he succeed in learning because Hashem is going to help him, more than that, those 30 minutes of Torah that you fought will supply enough beracha not only for you become a supplier. Just like Miriam became a supplier of water for the whole generation because she fought hard even though she was called Azuvah. So too any person that touches the body any person that fights the Yetzirah, just overcomes temptations not to be lazy, to do the right thing. That person will succeed. Hashem will help him. It's a guarantee Hashem will help him. But more than that, when you actually fight and Hashem throws nisyonot at you, reasons not to learn, not to do the right thing, not to give tzedakah, not to keep Shabbat, not to do chesed, but you still do the right thing, you also become a leader. You become a supply of beracha for the generation. And that's what a tzaddik is. Whether it's a overflowing cup that pours to everybody else around them. And how does a person become a tzaddik? When they go harder and harder, even the Yetzirah tries to pull them down, they fight even harder to do the right thing, and that's what their reward is. If life is easy, there'll be no purpose to life. Without touching the body, our neshama will do perfectly fine in Olam Haba. Our souls come from the Kisei Kavod, from the chair of Hashem, which is the highest point in the world. Why is it like that? And how do you define success? You know what success is? Being close to Hashem. We already were close to Hashem. We came from the chair, from the Kisei Kavod. So what's the point of coming to this world? What's the point of putting us into bodies and being in the places that we are and trying to fight the Yetzirah? What's the point? Says the Ramchal, we were already in the best place in the world, Kisei Kavod. So if Hashem took us out of there and put us in this world, obviously the purpose of this world is for things not to be easy, but to actually not follow our surroundings and still want to get close to Hashem. If Judaism was supposed to be easy, when Jesus just stayed in Olam Haba, if learning Torah was supposed to be easy, there's no point in being in the soul if just stayed in Olam Haba next to Hashem. If keeping Shabbat is easy, if doing the right thing is easy, what's the point of coming to this world? The only reason automatically what happens is when you have Hashem wanted to challenge us to see are we still going to follow the Torah? Are we still going to fight to do the right thing no matter what? Leaves the body, there's such an empty vacuum that what happens is that's what builds our Olam Haba, and that's what shows our loyalty to Hashem. That's why Hashem put us in this world. In this world, the body for the test. So the Zohar here is explaining. That's why in this world, when one understands the purpose of the world, so powerful. The challenges that a person has become much easier. If a person thinks there's such an empty vacuum of emptiness, something has to fill that hole of emptiness, because now like a leaves you the Shema water part, then that fills the body instead of comes their way. It's going to be too overwhelming, too challenging. So come in and understands that there's too much. There was so much room to take over from the Kedusha that the whole house becomes to do it, then everything becomes much easier. Why are we in this world to get close to Hashem? Through the challenges, and both of them get overheated by the sun. Right now we have too much hot, it's too hot outside, whatever it is, what's called a heat wave. So imagine you have a small car, and then you have a truck that get overheated, and then they both explode. The explosion of the small car is not going to be the same as big as the truck. Why? Because the truck has a bigger tank, the truck has a bigger engine. So the bigger the engine, the bigger the tank, the bigger the explosion is going to be. Which means a pool of water. So says the Zohar in Hebrew, when the Yehudi leaves his body, when the Yehudi passes away, the whole room becomes tameh. Jumping inside the pool of water. The whole room gets affected. Why? Because the Jew, the soul, the Yehudi, his neshama, is so powerful. It's such a big tank of Kedusha that when it leaves, the whole place explodes. What does that mean? Hashem, on the other hand, does shower you with a pool of water of mayim. That's a beracha. It's the same word as beracha. It's a pool of water. That's why when you enter a house, Hashem should shower with a lot of water. Water represents everybody gets affected. Miriam supplied water for the whole generation. Why? Because Miriam is the one that actually fought and became Miriam. This is what happens. And when she passed away at the age of 127, look how much of an effect it makes on the whole place. Look what happens when a Jew lives this world, how much an effect it makes on the whole room. How Hashem believes in every single one of us. And we're here to fight the Yetzirah and grow, and that's what Hashem cherishes. Hashem cherishes have an effect when he's alive. When Yehudi passes away, it gets the whole place to in this world. We're in this world to try and impure. Can you imagine how much power a Jew has when he's alive based on their accomplishments? Hashem rewards a person based on their effort to accomplish. Hashem gives our neshama accomplishment according to Hashem, and recognize the potential and the power of the neshama that we have. Those who try, if when a person leaves this world after 120, it can turn into everything. It's so powerful. How much we tried. How much power we have over extra accomplishment. And I end up with a quick story. Imagine what happens when you tried funding how much Kedusha it brings to the world. Poor people. Imagine every time you learn Torah, how much Kedusha it brings to the world. I figured I'll try to fund his money for them. I gave up eventually. So I went to my Rosh Yeshiva and how much potential we have while we're alive. Our Neshamot are so powerful. It makes such an effect on the whole world. The Mashad that I like to give to some current events. His office and I told him, Rabbi, and he's a Rosh Yeshiva of thousands of Talmidim. I went to him and I told him, the President of the United States just tweeting away, sending messages. I know you know some wealthy people in his bedroom in Washington, D.C. And he could go on his iPhone, Yeshiva told me that currently he sends a message on his phone, he tweets away, whatever it's called. It was actually very nice of him. And even though he's sitting all the way in Washington, D.C., all he has to do is write a few lines to threaten somebody. And somebody thousands of miles away, all the way in different countries of the Middle East, all get petrified. I mean, that's what happened. Trump tweeted away that Iran, because we get evacuated. Talk to big Rosh Yeshiva. What's the capital? Tehran. Everyone should evacuate Tehran. That's my grandparents are from, by the way. Everyone should evacuate Tehran. And even though he was all the way in Washington, D.C., a few lines on the phone from a president that's people that you're trying to fundraise money for, that it made an effect thousands of miles away in a different country, that every time millions of people started evacuating. Because the president is that powerful, it takes a few words and an iPhone that you wanted to get millions of people thousands of feet away, working to get to the mitzvah. Already without exaggeration, Hashem tells you to get when a Jew does a mitzvah, I like to give to this, when a Yehudi learns Torah, does chesed, when one is about to speak Lashon Hara but controls themselves, when somebody gets you angry and you don't answer back, you chosem piv, you actually close your mouth, the beracha and the power you brought to the world makes an effect, not only to you, says the Chafetz Chaim, you close your mouth not to answer back, you make an effect not only to your life, it says it makes an effect on your children's life, and you grab to try to fundraise money for tzedakah. The Chafetz Chaim brings one step to go pray to when one controls themselves and is strong. Every effort you do, even though maybe didn't get to the destination you tried, not only on yourself, it brings blessings to your children, to grandchildren, for generations to come, for you controlling yourself now, not to speak Lashon Hara. And this happens every time we do mitzvot. We can do one act of mitzvah because we're so powerful, because we are sons of Hashem and our Shemot are so close to Hashem. We make such a difference. We can do a mitzvah right here in New York. It makes an effect on the whole world. Just like the president can write a few lines on the iPhone and he scares the whole world away because this is a powerful opportunities for Torah mitzvot. We cannot let the Yetzirah minimize how much we're worth or minimize the mitzvot. You got to take this to heart. Our souls are so powerful when we're alive. We have such potential. Anytime we do a mitzvah, anytime we learn Torah, it makes an effect for generations to come, and it makes an effect everywhere in the world. We have the power to give berachah to our life, or chas v'shalom, a person berachah that I make today. Bring a kelah to our actions make a difference, and that's how much hours of Torah that I learned. Adam ki amut ba'or, when you have a person that passes away, you're going to start counting all the mitzvot you did. You're going to notice how much of an effect you make on the world. The Jew is so powerful, when it leaves, it damages everything. To teach us that when we are alive, even though we're going through a lot, and even that person maybe fell many times in the past, he not doing the right thing. But if they're alive, serving Hashem, if their neshama is in their body, how wealthy or how much we already accomplished. When one recognizes how much they accomplished, it will give them the energy to keep on going because Hashem knows that they're chance to utilize the soul that Hashem gave them. I'm going to say one and this Sabbatai is unbelievable chizuk. If a person takes us to heart, if we really utilize how powerful our neshama are, it's a tremendous thing. I'll share with you one story. And then a soldier sent in a question. This story I heard a few years ago in one of the IDF bases. I heard it from a friend of mine in Eretz Yisrael. That it happened to a Rosh Yeshiva in Israel that came collecting after COVID. He came fundraising money. So for lunch they have meat. So this Rosh Yeshiva was a friend of mine who told me the story. Or dinner, the way you want to call it. This story already, I said over a few many times. It's one of my favorite stories. Such a powerful message. Me as a Sfardi, he told me that his friend, the Rosh Yeshiva, came to fundraise money after COVID. He took a long break. He couldn't fly to America. So after COVID, he came to fundraise money. We have to wait 6 hours. And the driver that he usually uses to drive him around to different locations to fundraise to have there. And he told me in Pennsylvania. So he said the driver that drove him was an Israeli Jew that wasn't from. That was not religious. Says he has to wait. He brings 2 opinions down. He pulls up to JFK airport. I have to be careful how I say this. And the regular driver that always wants to pick him up also came. But this time he saw he was wearing a kippah, he was wearing tzitzit, he became religious. So the Rosh Yeshiva gets inside the car and tells him, Achi, my brother, what happened to you? Suddenly at the tea, and you want to have dairy suddenly you're religious. What happened to you? What turned around? Suddenly you made that decision after you meet before COVID. You're not religious. Now you're religious. What happened to you? Have some So then he told them a tremendous story about that happened to that Israeli Jew that became from. He says, during COVID, what happened was, you know how much we barely had any phone calls between dairy car services. 1 hour. People were really traveling a lot. Some weeks, 3 hours to have dairy. Any phone call that I got, then he brings down the any person that 6 hours to come pick them up and do a car service. We are no egg. I left to wait. Took the job 6 hours to have dairy. He says he got a phone call. But it's an interesting opinion to know. He got a phone call from a 3 hours is enough to have dairy after. You don't follow that. Are you able to come drive a doctor from New York to 6 hours? He says no problem. Can never do that. Picks up the but it's good to know that according to some opinions of the Ramah, 3 hours enough. You know where this can become and he sees a destination. For example, let's have a woman, not the usual Philadelphia, expecting all these so she had meat for lunch. He's taking to a random city that's known to have big forests, just no man's land. And it's after 3 hours. There's room for leniency. He puts in the GPS for his Israeli driver says, and he says driving the doctor to Pennsylvania to have dairy closer and closer and closer. He's asking him, well, let's see, you have an old man. He asked the doctor, if you don't mind me asking, where are we going? I mean, putting the GPS for a child. What do you have to do in such a place where there's no business? He can only wait 6 hours. Exactly, you're visiting family. So the doctor told the soldier, asked him, by the time we have the dairy meal at night, unfortunately, the doctor said upon himself that he had the meat lunch by the army base and he has cancer, unfortunately. By the time we finished, and then if you want to calculate 6 hours, so when he finished lunch to have supper time is within the 6 hours when I had meat. About when did we start counting 6 hours after you had meat to have dairy? For when you do, unfortunately, black magic, it's very dangerous. Usually you might be middle of a meal. It's never happened, bread. But there are people out there in this country that do black magic. Very dangerous. It's horrible. As soon as you're done eating the chicken, and they can really damage counting 6 hours. You don't have to wait 6 hours when he said they do black magic on the bread that you had with the meat. You start getting 6 hours when he knows what he's doing. In this city in Pennsylvania, said by the time I finish eating meat lunch, and then it's already supper time, and it's still within 6 hours where I'm going, but I'll take it anyways. He goes to the destination, and then he tells them, park right here. It was right outside, like empty land, like forest. He says, park right here. The doctor told him, like in your situation, you're a soldier that needs energy. Wait for me a couple hours, I'll be back. Like I said, don't worry, I have my iPhone, I'm going to watch movies, you can take your time. The doctor leaves the car and he goes inside the forest. It was an obvious trail, 5.5 hours path. Why? He comes back around 20 minutes later, says Israeli. He comes back around 20 minutes later, as he's on his phone, the Israeli driver was saying he was in the middle of watching, unfortunately. He was watching a movie on his phone in his car. As he's on his phone, suddenly someone said a banging down his window. He looks at his window, that's pretty scary. Imagine you go out to the forest, 6 hours. You're all peaceful, somebody starts knocking on your window. He sees it's that doctor, 6 hours between his customer that he dropped off. But the Rambam added the word, he rolls down his window, what's going on? He's like, are you Jewish? He turns to the driver, tells him, are you Jewish? He says, yes. From the Rambam we learned, he's like, well, the sidekick hours.
This
no
black magic guy,
but there is room to read in the Rambam that it means around 6 hours.
Just told me.
So what does around 6 hours mean? After 5.5 hours, you find this black magic impurity power. There's no way he can do it because there's too much kedusha in the area. There's too much holiness in the area. So he told this psychic guy told the doctor who told you, how did you get here? Should take it home and regular car service. Go find out there's something special about the guy. Ask him if he's Jewish. I have to tell you that something is going on in Lakewood. And he went to the driver and he asked him, he's Jewish. I asked him, I'm Jewish. He told him, please go a few miles out. The psychic guy said there's no way he can perform his tumah of black magic. There's no way he can use a source of impurity as long as there's too much tahol, there's too much holiness in the area, and you're blocking it, so please move a few miles away. That's what the doctor told the Jew, this Israeli driver, and that's what he did. Eventually picked him up, and then afterwards the Israeli driver is 7:40, and then supper is around 7:45 till 9 o'clock. And supper's always powerful by just sitting in the car watching him had an issue. If my neshama is that powerful, then it makes an effect on some random guys doing 8 o'clock. It's not 6 hours. What do we do? Black magic. So there's a famous. If I make such an effect, but just sitting in my car, can you imagine how much power and effect that will make to the world? And that's not tefillin. As I keep Shabbat, if I learn 5.5 hours, he noticed his potential that he has with his neshama. They can still have dairy after the meat, but it had to be 5.5 hours. Didn't recognize yet the potential, the power that he has, how special his neshama is. Only then did he recognize that he makes such an effect. That from then on, he said, if I make such an effect, if I have so much value from that powerful, I'm going to start learning Torah. And slowly, he told the Rachimi, this is Israeli driver, became religious. Slowly, some people always in back of line because anyways, we had to wait an extra half hour because we didn't want to follow the leniency. The person who wears tzitzit in this world, you get a sechar, you get a reward. 5.5 hours after you had meat. Before he passed away, he was holding on to a pair of tzitziot. Welcome, welcome. Enjoy some food. We have some good food over here. What is it? Hot poppers? What do we have there? Izzy? Nuggets. A lot of good food. Enjoy. Fries. So he noticed himself that every time he wore tzitzit, the Golem Avinu before he passed away, he will hold on to a pair of tzitziot and he will cry and cry and cry. So they asked him, Rabbi Kvod Rav Golem Avinu, why are you crying holding a pair of tzitziot? So he says, in this world, if every moment when you wear tzitzit you get a reward, that means if you're wearing one pair of tzitzit the whole day, make the calculation. Go on your phone, make the calculation. If every moment you wear tzitzit is a mitzvah, how much mitzvot you do in 1 hour by just wearing a piece of clothing of tzitzit? So he says, in this world, this is a world of opportunity, says the Golem of Vilna. While we're alive, we're able to grab as much Torah and mitzvot as possible. But said the Gaon, you know why I'm crying? Because if I'm leaving this world, I'm not going to be in the world of opportunity anymore. Olam haba is where you get what you worked for in this world, you get rewarded in the next world, but the world of working, the world of gaining Torah and mitzvot, the world of opportunity is only in this world. So why was the Golem Avina, who was known to be one of the greatest tzaddikim we ever had, he finished Shas at a very, very young age. He knew every letter of the Gemara, he knew every letter of the Torah, he learned so much mitzvot, so much Torah, had so much mitzvot. Why was he crying? Because he was sad he was leaving this world, which is the world of opportunity to do Torah and mitzvot. So that's why he was holding a pair of tzitzit, crying, I'm leaving this world because I can't grab mitzvot anymore. Yes, I will get rewarded in the next world. And yes, Olam Haba is the most enjoyable place in the world. But where's our world of opportunity? Only in this world. When can one build and grab Torah and mitzvot? Only while they're alive. And if wearing pair of tzitzit gives you reward every moment, how can you not grab the opportunity, says the Golem of Vilna. And that's what we learn from the story. If the neshama of a Jew is so powerful to stop this sidekick from doing koach hatumah, even though he was in his car, do you realize how powerful our neshamot is, Abotai? Try to think about this. How many Shabbatot in our lives did we keep? Too much to count, thank you Hashem. And every Shabbat that we keep brings tremendous beracha to the world. You know what the Yetzer Hara does? He knows how to minimize, the Gemara in Berachot compares the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, to a businessman. Why does the Gemara compare the Yetzer Hara to a businessman? Who's a good businessman? Who's a good salesperson? A good salesperson is a person who knows to turn something that's valuable into nothing, or something that's not valuable at all into something. Who's a good politician? A good politician is somebody who knows how to sell you something that's worth nothing and make believe as if he knows how to explode it and blow it up as if it's the most beautiful thing, although it's worthless. And a good politician could take something that's worth something. No, thank you. And a good politician could take something that's worth something and very valuable and minimize it and make it very small. That's a good businessman. That's a good politician. They know how to manipulate things. Says the Gemara in Berachot, the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination every single day tries to convince us to minimize the mitzvot that we do and to make things that are not a big deal into a big deal. For example, when a person says a beracha, a blessing, before they drink or before they eat, that beracha, Rabotai, with no exaggeration, has tremendous beracha, tremendous blessing to the world. That's called a mitzvah, and every mitzvah is appreciated by Hashem. But what does the Yetzer Hara do, Chacham Isaac? He takes the mitzvah that we do. What does the Yetzer Hara tell us? Big deal, you made a beracha. Relax. So you put on tefillin today. Big deal. You know how many Jews in the world are putting on tefillin? So you learned Torah today for 10 minutes. Who cares? You know how many Jews in the world are learning? You think the whole world was waiting for you to learn for 10 minutes? What's 10 minutes of Torah? If you learn the whole day like Chacham Ovadia, good, then I'll give you a medal of honor. But all you're learning for is for 30 minutes, that's not a big deal. That's what the Yetzer Hara tells us. You said Birkat HaMazon after you ate bread, so what? Just Birkat HaMazon, just a couple of pages. And that's all a lie. That's all a bluff. The Yetzer Hara knows how to manipulate a Jew and tell him the mitzvot that he does, even though they're so powerful and big, he knows how to minimize it as if it's nothing. It's nada. All it is one mitzvah. But really every mitzvah is tremendous, and every mitzvah is massive, and it brings tremendous beracha to the world. And then he takes things that really are not a big deal and turns them into a big deal. Oh, you heard? The Knicks are playing the Lakers, whatever it's called. Oh, you heard? The Knicks are playing the Nets. Whoa, everyone is going crazy. The Knicks, the Nets, and this. What's the big deal? We're talking about a bunch of goyim playing ball. Take it easy. But what does the Yetzer Hara do? He knows how to take things that are worthless, that have no purpose, that have no meaning, that will not give us any benefit, not in this world, not in the next world. He takes those ideas and he explodes it. He blows it up into a big deal, and it takes over a person's life. That's why the Gemara in Berachot compares the Yetzer Hara to a businessman. He knows how to minimize the powerful mitzvot that we do. The fact that we learn Torah, our neshamot are so powerful. We have so much potential. What does the Yetzer Hara do? He tries to minimize who we are. But what's our job? What do we learn from this week's parasha? Not to minimize our power, our potential. If we're alive, if Hashem gives us life, that means Hashem believes in us to do Torah and mitzvot. If we're alive today, that means we can utilize our potential to get closer and closer to Hashem. And whatever we do makes an effect on us, our children, our grandchildren, generations to come. That's how powerful our neshamot are. Another lesson that we learn from this parasha is Miriam. This is a tremendous point. Miriam in this parasha passes away at the age of 127. She was older than Moshe Rabbeinu by 7 years. Now something very interesting. The Gemara tells us in Sotah, the Fiyud Bet Amun Aleph, the Gemara tells us that Miriam did not have an easy life. The Gemara says in Sotah the Fiyud Bet that another name that Miriam had besides Miriam was V'lamenika Shema Azuvah. Another name for Miriam was Azuvah. What does the word Azuvah mean in English? Azuvah means the one that's left over, like second class, or even worse than second class. Azuvah means to leave over. Like let's say you left over something in the room, you just left it hanging and you ran out. So we call that azav, you left that item away. So Miriam was called her name when she was born as a child. They called her Azuvah. Why did she get that name? She'akol azvua mitchilata. Everybody left her when she was young. Says Rashi, why did everybody leave Miriam when she was young? She was born in Mitzrayim, in Egypt. Why did everybody call her Azuvah? Why did everyone leave her? Says Rashi, she'azvua kol bachorei Yisrael melisa ota shayeta chola. Miriam was not a well child, unfortunately. She was weak, born weak, and she was chola, and she would get other people infected. So as a baby, everybody ran away from her. And when she got older, says Rashi, she was left alone. No bachur Yisrael, no bachelor wanted to marry Miriam.
Nobody wanted to marry Miriam. Everybody left her alone until Kalev came along. Kalev married Miriam. Kalev Tzaddik married Miriam. He was zochet to marry Miriam. But says the Gemara in Sotah, Miriam had a different name, Azuvah. Why? Everybody left her hanging. But Rabotai, what happened at the end? Miriam and Neviah became the prophet. One of the only, we have a few women prophets. One of them for generations was Miriam. And in this week's parasha, when she passed away, the Be'er, Klal Yisrael, we were in the Midbar, we were in the desert. There's no water in the desert, so how did they drink? Says the Gemara, how did they drink? So the Gemara tells us, the Rachimi tell us, what happened was, as long as Miriam was alive, there was a miracle, there was a nes, there was a miraculous well, a Be'er she Miriam. So as long as Miriam was alive, because she was such a big tzadikah, she was so righteous, Hashem, in honor of her and her merit, out of her righteousness of being alive, doing so many good things, Hashem did a miracle every single day in the Midbar for 40 years. What was that miracle? That wherever we traveled as a Jewish people, as a nation, wherever we traveled, we had a spring coming out of a well, and everyone was able to drink. You're talking about millions of people. You're talking about women, children, older men, everybody drink from where? We drank from this well that was miraculously driving with us wherever we were in the Midbar for 40 years. And in honor of who did we have that well? In honor of Miriam. And as soon as Miriam passed away, in this week's parasha, Miriam passed away on the 10th of Nisan. And that's why Parashat Chukat. And as soon as she passed away, what happened? There was no more water. And because there was no more water, the well stopped working miraculously in the desert. What happened because there was no more water? Klal Yisrael went to Moshe Rabbeinu and complained. You want to kill us in the Midbar? You want us to die from thirst? Take us back to Mitzrayim. And we know Moshe Rabbeinu went to Hashem, and Hashem told him, he told Moshe and Aaron, speak to the Selah. Talk to the rock of where the well is, where Miriam's well is. Talk to the rock, and it's going to keep on bringing out water, just like I did until now in honor of Miriam. And we all know the story that Moshe Rabbeinu went to the well, but Klal Yisrael started complaining too much that they're too thirsty. They told Moshe Rabbeinu, basically, get a move on it. We're thirsty. Why are you looking for a specific stone? Moshe Rabbeinu was looking for that specific stone until now that was traveling with us. What happened was he couldn't find it because Hashem attached that stone of the well of Miriam with all the other stones, so it took Moshe Rabbeinu couple more moments to find it. Meanwhile, Klal Yisrael got impatient. They told Moshe Rabbeinu, we're thirsty. What does it matter which stone you're getting it from? Just do it. And Moshe Rabbeinu got upset at them at his level, and he called them Hamurim. He called them the rebellious ones, and instead of speaking to the rock like Hashem told him to bring out the water, he hit the rock twice, and then a lot of water came out, and Moshe Rabbeinu got punished for that in his level, not to enter Eretz Yisrael just for doing that, by the way. Moshe Rabbeinu, for not listening to Hashem on his level, instead of speaking to the rock, he hit the rock. Him and Aaron HaKohen could not enter Eretz Yisrael for that specific purpose. We're talking about very high level tzaddikim. So according to their level of righteousness, that's considered, I guess, a chet or a mistake on their level. But what do we learn from this, Rabotai? The bischut Miriam, in honor of Miriam at Tzadikah, the whole Jewish nation had water for 40 years. And not only that, you know how Miriam passed away? She had something called mitat aneshika. The same way Moshe Rabbeinu passed away and Aaron HaKohen. Usually when a person passes away, the malach hamavet comes, the angel of death comes to a person, and the way the Chafetz Chaim brings it, okay, not to scare anyone, but I'll give you a little bit of a secret from the Chafetz Chaim. The Chafetz Chaim says, after 120, when the malach hamavet sees a person, the angel of death, you know how a person passes away? The person, when he sees the angel of death, they get so scared from seeing the angel of death that the neshama just leaves their body. That's why if a person passes away on Shabbat, they don't see Malach HaMavet. It's a big zechut to pass away on Shabbat specifically, and they also don't have Kafakela, which is a whole different thing. But what's Mitat Neshika? Mitat Neshika means that tzaddikim pass away from a kiss. Nishika means a kiss from Hashem. What does that mean? What happens is Hashem brings the Shekhinah. Hashem brings the light of the Kedusha from Olam Haba. He brings it onto that tzaddik who is about to leave this world. And that tzaddik, the righteous person's neshama, is so eager to get close to Hashem. The soul of a good person is so eager to reach the Shekhinah that when he sees that light of Shekhinah that Hashem brought closer to him in this world, the neshama naturally and excitingly
leaves the body and goes to the Shekhinah, which means mitat neshika basically means it's a no pain death. There's absolutely no pain. The neshama just, with excitement, leaves the body to get close to Hashem. There's other interpretations what mitat neshika is, but Miriam reached such a high level that she had mitat neshika, and the whole world, the whole Klal Yisrael in the Midbar got water because of her zechut. Miriam is the one that said Shira when we left Kriyat Yamsuf for the women. Moshe Rabbeinu sang with the men as Yashir. Who sang with the women? Miriam. Miriam became Miriam and Neviah. And this is all after, when she was younger. Everybody nicknamed her Azuvah, the one that everybody ran away from. But look how Miriam, even though she had a hard childhood, by the way, that Balbanet says, why is she called Miriam? The word Miriam, the root word is mal, bitter. She was born in Mitzrayim at the time when the Jews were going through a very bitter time. Her mother Yocheved, her father Amram had her while they were in Mitzrayim. Her father was a Gdol Hadol. He was the leader of the generation in Egypt for the Jewish people. So he had a very hard time dealing with Paro. Enslavement was a very hard time. So when Miriam was born, they called her Miriam, meaning from the word mal, which means bitter, meaning she was born at very bitter times. But Miriam grew and grew, and she became the prophet for the women. She said Shira, and she's the one that supplied water for the whole Jewish people. What's the lesson of this parasha, Rabotai? That when a person is going through a very hard time, when something seems very uncomfortable, when somebody tells a person there's no way you're going to succeed, there's no way you're going to be matzliach, if a person pulls through, not only are they going to succeed, they're going to be the suppliers for the generation. But listen very carefully. Those who work hard, those who try to get close to Hashem,